808s and Joysticks with Tom Stone and Tyrell Haywood-Brown.
Welcome to 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, season with pop culture. I'm Tyrell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
Yeah, so we are actually doing this show whilst Gamescom is ongoing at the moment, so we will cover the little bits of information that have been released so far, but we won't dive too much into it. But don't worry, we do have a lot of other news to get through as well in other sections, so it's going to be a packed show still. But to start it off, we're going to be speaking about a big announcement, which is that PUBG is actually going to be crossplay, which means that it's crossplay enabled between Xbox One and PS4 for the first time, following the footsteps of Battle Royale games like Fortnite. PUBG has decided to actually go ahead with crossplay, and they aim to get the live server update by early October. So it's interesting news, this, because Fortnite really took over the Battle Royale scene from PUBG, and then they announced crossplay very early on. So PUBG are having a little fight back now, but is it too late now?
Too late? I probably would say it's too late. Like, imagine that PUBG is on season 4 when Fortnite's about to go into, what is 11th or 10th season now? It's already gone into?
I think it's currently in season 10.
Jesus, like, imagine a game like that has already gone into its 10th season, and now we're having its season 4 on PUBG coming to Xbox One in August the 27th. I don't really see how this can really compete. It's obviously got its own lane, and being in a part of the Battle Royale genre and being a much more realistic shooter compared to Fortnite, which is more of the arcade, colourful, I would say the aspect that obviously differentiates PUBG and Fortnite obviously is the fact that you could do the building aspect and the base building and defense and things like that. I don't really know how PUBG can really manage to get bigger than Fortnite after this. I think it's going to be a game that's really going to stay in its own community, in its own lane, and it's going to have a steady, I wouldn't say small community, I'll probably say medium community, and that's just how it's going to be. Also, I know there's a new narrative-driven PUBG game in the works as well, so
it's interesting that could be a route that they actually decide to go down. It might work better for them. But the interesting thing about this announcement is that it doesn't include PC crossplay. So PUBG being a game that was primarily PC, was only PC exclusive for a long time, and primarily has a big user base on PC, they are sort of cutting out a lot of their player base by not having PC in the crossplay. Now, whether that's due to limitations with the software possibly not the game engine, as I think the game engine might support that, but just the fact that they are limiting it just to console means they're really, really going up against Fortnite here, because, Fortnite is primarily a console played game, whereas PUBG is a primarily PC played game. So there's not much that's going to be changing for PC players on the PUBG scene, which does mean that, are they going to really battle Fortnite for that place on console? I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be enough there. Other games have tried to do it before. Games like H1Z1, stuff like that has come to console. Even some of the bigger games, like Call of Duty's Battle Royale and Battlefield's Battle Royale modes, they didn't succeed on console as much as Fortnite did. And the only thing that sort of threatened Fortnite was Apex, which was crossplay between PC, PS4 and Xbox. So
it's funny you bring up Apex, because there's something really big going on. I don't know if you heard about the massive paywall behind behind Apex Legends at the moment. Like, you know, even that game has now managed to slip into the old ways of EA again.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Actually, never saw a game released and published by EA.
I never saw that coming either, man. Like, just that game industry, that damn darn game industry.
You would have thought they'd have learned a lesson by now. You know,
man,
they release a free game unannounced, comes out, does really well. Someone had to get greedy at some point. Like,
of course, I had to get greedy at some point. Like, and this is the problem with these companies. We keep, and I feel like we're just beating a dead horse at this point.
We know the reason why they've added the surprise mechanics to Apex Legends. It's due to the fact that Anthem didn't do as well as they planned, and that was primarily going to be a game that was online, you know, an online only service that provided customizable items for in-app purchases, microtransactions. That didn't go to plan, so they were like, okay, what's our next biggest game that's online that we can do that with? And yes, that's the game that you've picked, Apex Legends, but you've really just not understood why people are playing that game. You know, they already brought out like a battle pass equivalent for it, so to try and bring in a bigger paywall doesn't really make sense. It's as if they don't see what other games in the sector are doing, because Fortnite hasn't done that and it stayed successful. You know, as much as we bashed Fortnite when it first came out, and we to be fair, we do give credit to Epic for the way that they have managed the game after release, because they have done a really good job with it. But
I'm about to say, if you want to take a look at, like, you know, essentially post-launch content, well, this is a live service. Fortnite is a very good live service. Like, don't get me wrong, give it all the shit that you want, and we do give it a lot of criticism at time. And, you know, I'm first to say how much I've criticized Fortnite over time, but there's one thing I can't criticize it on, and that is its support of the game, like Epic support, and the game actually being interesting. Every season, the landscape shifts and it changes, and there's new things to do, and there's, you know, and they bring back old things, but in new ways, and they allow people to, you know, build their own levels now, and that's a free game. Like, yeah, you can buy the game and get the founders pack or whatever you called it, and you can get the first, you know, the actual Fortnite story mode, which nobody plays, but everyone knows that they're coming there for the battle royale, and that's a free game. It's available on pretty much every platform now. Like, a game like Apex Legends to come through and be free but be pretty good, but is only really available on you know, I would say it's a much more premium game. Like, you can play that on premium consoles. Like, you can't play that on your mobile. You can't really get like a Switch and like play it on there, which I would say in terms of like pricing, the Switch is known as a middle point console. I wouldn't say that it's like a top end console, even though in terms of functionality it has amazing things, but its price point is a lot lower than the Xbox One X and the PlayStation Pro. Mm-hmm. So and it's a portable machine, and now there's one where it's a fully portable machine where you can't even dock it anymore for a cheaper price, even though I think it's silly. Just buy the actual machine for, I think it's about there's like £50 in it or something like that, like if you got the docked version and the undocked version. I'm not quite sure on the price points there, but I think it would be much more worth your while just getting the docked version, because at least then you have the option to do it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I still mainly use my Switch for handheld, but sometimes it is nice to have the dock there. So it's beneficial. It just depends how you want to play it. You know, a lot of people bought the 2DS when the 2DS came out, and that was the equivalent of the 3DS, but just sort of a block, and it didn't have the folding capabilities, and everything else.
And no 3D as well.
Yeah, no 3D. So, yeah, there's still a market there for it. Nintendo knows what they're doing with that. But, yeah, like you said, the price point for stuff like that and the availability of games on it, for things like Fortnite, free-to-play game that's available everywhere with no paywall, compared to a game that isn't with a paywall, with things like Apex Legends and PUBG not being crossplay and everything. You are starting to build up this thing where you're building a wall for yourself, rather than, you're giving the competitors an advantage by not being as proactive.
Well, seeming as like I didn't know if you did. How much do you know about this Apex Legends debacle? Because it's really blown over. Like it's really become a problem now. Yeah,
I've known about it, but I'm not fully invested in it. I don't know enough to sort of.
Let me just say this. So, you now have the Respawn developers arguing on Reddit with the fans of Apex Legends over this loot box debacle.
Okay.
Who says that the developers should be... This is the problem as well. Like, I know we have this whole thing where, like, people like to be transparent. By the way, as well, Anthem lead designer left the other day. Like, that game is doomed. Like, that is one of those games that literally died. Reddit killed it because you can't talk to the community and promise things because they will call you out on your stuff. Like
Reddit didn't kill that game. The game.
The game was already dead.
The game was dead before it released.
Yeah,
I played that beta and it got so boring so quickly compared to other games of the same similar time.
I remember how hyped you was for Anthem. Like, we had so many conversations away from the show, and you was like, nah, man, it's going to be okay, man. I want you to play it as well. Like, we should play it together. Like, it's going to be okay. And I was just like, I don't like those kind of games that, like, we have to all work together to do one, like, raid. Like, why can't I just play the game myself and just do the raid myself? Like, I would love to just do the raid with you, but I don't want to have to play online all the time to start doing raids with other people, and then there's only like 4 raids in the game, and then the game's over. Like, what kind of game is that? Either way, we're getting totally off track.
Well, it had a lot of potential, but it's things like...
It did.
We've discussed it before, but we've played Warframe before together, and that free-to-play game, not really that much of a paywall. You can pay to play, or you can just play it free, and the game has so much content that you don't need
Warframe's hard as well now. Like, the amount of that's a good live service as well there. That's another good example of a game that is like continue to expand their service without having people to have to pay to get a better service or to get a certain thing that will enhance their gameplay or grind for thousands of hours. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have fun on a game like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we did, and that was the whole reason why it was so good, and Anthem had the potential for that, and it didn't work out, and it was due to EA's bad publishing decisions, which is moving back onto the Apex thing again. It's bad decision making. It's something we speak about a lot. It's decision making coming from up top rather than inside the studio, and that's not how games should be made. The longer you constrict an art form by investors at the top and businessmen making the decisions, the worse it's going to be. Because, it works for a business, it works for this. I know they're going to have to make money. I know they have to be a viable business. But EA makes enough money off every other live service it has. So why they try and pump so much out of certain things, I don't know. Why can't you just be happy with selling skins and battle passes? Some people buy it, some people don't, but I'd know from doing a study on in-game purchases and microtransactions that a lot of people that play those free-to-play games don't pay for stuff anyway, and the people that do actually spend money on it, a lot of the time are called whales, where they spend a lot of money on it all at once. So you still make the money. It's just greed at the end of the day. You know, they'll say that something else has gone bad, so the investors want more money elsewhere, and that's how it evens out. You know, this whole Apex thing, I don't really think it's too related, but the timing of it could be related to the stock price drop due to FIFA losing licenses. You know, the whole business of EA is surrounded about that. It could also be due to the fact that countries are trying to take loot boxes out and looking at it as gambling, so they have to think of other ways to make money off that. But there is other ways to do it, and they're not thinking about the other ways to do it. They're just thinking about money, the end goal, which, going back to the original point about it being an art form, art is best left for creative people to just run with, rather than being controlled and restricted, because that's when you don't get good art, because you're putting boundaries. And the best art is always where people go outside the boundaries and do something different, or let the game expand and develop its own thing, much like Fortnite has done. Even though it's an epic game, they have allowed it to grow and expand on its own. And, you know, we keep reiterating over the same points, but just going back to it, it really does show how much Epic have thought about it and are actually trying to make a good game whilst making money, whereas EA are just focused on the money.
Yeah, exactly. It's just funny that you said that, they're so focused on money, because I feel like you're gonna get a bit upset by what I'm gonna say, because I got upset when I seen this, because I thought there's no way a person making a game should be talking to their audience this way. So the executive producer, Drew McCoy, reacted to the fans with such hostility in the thread, describing some players as, excuse me, asshats and dicks, which obviously didn't go over very well. And they also was just trying to say that, like, you know, that people are like liars and that they're freeloaders and they're overreacting about things like this. And then now they've come out and apologized for everything and said that we really dropped the ball and we missed the mark by making Apex packs, aka loot boxes. I don't know why they're calling them something different. Apex packs. Like, oh, come on now.
I mean, if you were going to come up with a different name, you could have been a bit more inventive.
Like Apex packs? You mean just the same way as like FIFA packs?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Like, it's just like, can we even make this up anymore? Like, I'm not even surprised anymore.
I mean, there's not really a comment to say about it anymore. Like, that's what they do now. They're known for it. Actually, speaking about this, Need for Speed Heat was announced by EA. I must say, the game looks very good. It looks like it's going back to its underground roots. And they said that there was no loot boxes in that. Don't believe it. Don't believe it for a second, because that'll change. The customization options are there. It's Underground 2, reloaded, remastered. It looks amazing. It looks like what Underground 2 would be in current gen. But there's going to be a point where they add loot boxes to that. Or not loot boxes, but just a big paywall of customization features that you have to pay for. There's going to be it at some point.
I'm not even bothering, man. EA's tried to like reboot Need for Speed so many times. I'm not doing it.
This is the first time that it looks good. You know, it's gone back to its roots when it was good. But
I'm not doing that. I'm not going back to its roots. It's supposed to be going back to its roots the last 4 games, and we never got anything. We never ever got the roots. What roots was we going back? Like, everyone, like, oh, Need for Speed Heat won't have loot boxes. Not now, not ever. So what is it gonna have?
Well, it can still have microtransactions.
Of course, it's lies. They said Apex Legends. They said Apex Legends was never gonna have loot boxes. What did they do instead? They came out with Apex packs. So what they're gonna just come out with Need for Speed packs, or they're gonna call them something stupid like, I don't know, like, I don't really know what to call them, alloy packs or something, or like wheel packs. I don't know, something to do with Need for Speed.
Yeah, you just have some. You'll have something.
Yeah, for sure. Like I just don't know. Is it going to be online only as well?
I don't know. There are more details that have been announced or going to be announced at Gamescom. So when we get full details about that, we will have to cover it a little bit more. But in fact, I want to move on to some more. Well, I was going to say some more positive news. Might be positive for Sony fanboys, might not be so positive for others. Sony did announce that they have acquired Spider-Man developer Insomniac as a first-party PlayStation studio.
Let's get it. It's been time anyway, man. They should have been purchasing Insomniac as a studio for sure.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they're making mainly PlayStation exclusive games anyway. So they've had a good relationship for a few years now.
I'm trying to think of what. Yeah, they haven't really made any.
The only other game they made that was Microsoft exclusive was Sunset Overdrive,
which is now on PC, which is available for everyone. And they made Song of the Deep, which is like a Metroidvania type game. Another game called The Unspoken, and Feral Rights, and Edge of Nowhere. Those are all Microsoft exclusives. Song of the Deep came out on PlayStation 4, and obviously we've got Spider-Man, and they also made a game for like a rental VR. A head-mounted virtual retinal display, 3D imagery. They made like a game for this random VR company, but it's like got a lot of investment at the moment. So this is weird.
Well, considering PlayStation are looking at VR heavily for the next generation, there could be links between that. But, well, we'll have to wait and see because...
do you know what I thought, though? Like, so now Sony own the Ratchet and Clank series, and they own the Resistance series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, properly. I really hope that Sony reboot the Resistance series. That's one of my favorite shooter series from the PlayStation 3. Like, that was a launch title for the PlayStation. Resistance is a very good game.
I've never actually played. I'd say I didn't have a PlayStation 3, so I never actually played it.
Well, hopefully now that Sony has the rights, they would maybe do a re-release on the PlayStation 4, or hopefully the PlayStation 5 has this crazy backwards compatibility of like every Sony console ever.
Yeah, but it does mean that, because I think, don't hold me to this, but I do think that Insomniac were discussing doing another Marvel game at some point and picking who they wanted to do it with. It's possibly going to be a Spider-Man sequel.
Yeah, well, okay, we already definitely know that Spider-Man 2 is on the way.
But it does mean that will probably be an exclusive for PlayStation.
I would like to see a Venom game. What would you like to see?
Oh, a Venom game sounds interesting.
Like a real, like, we can kind of play like as like an anti-hero. That would kind of be hard.
Yeah, there was like Iron Man flies about quite a lot. Quite literally, and also the idea of it.
See, it gets sticky here because we know we have the Avengers game on the way. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too sure what Insomniac can touch at the moment in terms of like video games, because I don't know if that's going to confuse their licensing or whatever that's going on with. Well, obviously we know Square Enix doesn't have a proper license because they don't have the license to any of the faces or anything from the people in the film.
That was a choice though by Marvel Games and Square Enix. So I think what Marvel wants to do is keep all the games separate from the films.
But that's really stupid because I'm pretty sure that I heard that they were going to use like certain scenarios that were in the films. It's just going to be really hard to market a game called The Avengers when it's not going to be how people think The Avengers is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are going to come into this thinking, okay, if I want to play The Avengers, I want to play what I've seen in the cinemas. Obviously, for us,
I don't think that matters too much.
We know The Avengers isn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe Avengers. Like, that is one that was created solely for the film market. But I just want to know how they can make this highly ultra realistic kind of cinematic type game, and it looks similar to the films, and it kind of like the camera shots and everything is kind of similar, like the action and that. I just want to know how they're gonna not confuse people, because I feel like people will get confused. I'm not saying that they would like it is confusing. I'm just saying that I feel like people can get confused. They've got confused by a lot less before than this. Like, I feel like people will buy the game and be like, whoa, that's not Scarlett Johansson, or whoa, that's not Robert Downey Jr. Like, we're going to be like really confused about things.
Yeah, I personally don't think it matters too much, because I think that the characters themselves are quite distinguishable, so it doesn't really matter if the face is there or not. You know, the Spider-Man that we have in the game isn't the same Spider-Man as the film. I know that's slightly different because Spider-Man games have always been a thing, but I think it doesn't matter too much in the terms of gaming. I actually think it's quite a clever idea from Marvel to keep it separate, because then they can do what they want with each and every one, and not have to keep actors involved and everything. But moving back to the point, what would I want Marvel-wise as a game? It's a hard one, because there's a lot of characters that really you think would make a good game. And like you mentioned, the Avengers, we already have Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow. So you technically get to play as them in a game already. Left out of that, I think, which is going to be a weird suggestion, but I do think a game that would be interesting would be an Ant-Man game.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. An Ant-Man game would be, wow. I'm trying to think about how it would go in my head. Like, so we can go really small, and then like there's like a whole different like type of like missions you have when you're a small person, because then obviously you have all the ants, but then you also have to fight against like, I guess, I don't know. Like, I guess you have to fight against other small things, but they are now bigger compared to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think...
And then you could be big as well, because obviously Ant-Man can turn small and big eventually. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But I think it'd blend into more of a fun game. Something that, like, Spider-Man has that makes it a good game is the web swinging, the funness to it that fits into a game well. I think something like Ant-Man would work, because you'd have the ability to fly or ride an ant. But then you'd also be normal size. But then, you know, you could also get bigger and skateboard down on cars down the street like he does in the film. So, you know, there's elements of fun there that you could definitely get out of a video game with something like that. Much more than something like a Doctor Strange game where, whilst it might work, it would be slightly more confusing and not as fun. It'd be more story driven. Yeah, I think
I think I would also maybe like to see like a standalone Hulk game again. Do you remember how fun the Hulk games were?
Yeah. But I think we might get some of that in a way playing with the Hulk on Avengers. That's why I tried to keep it sort of steer clear of that.
Like steer clear of like. I'm trying to think of other people outside. Black Panther.
Yeah, it's just what would Black Panther offer that's different for a video game? It's a thing.
Yeah, because he does do the whole fighting, but it is cool because I would just like to see that world being like realized in a game. I think it'd just be cool.
Yeah.
And I felt like it'd be like a cool way, but yeah, it's true. It's just hard to think about what the storyline's going to be like because obviously we have the films, but like you know when we used to have like film games and they were kind of like followed the film, like I feel like we can't really do that anymore.
Yeah, well, to be fair, none of those games, okay, not none of them, but the majority of those games were never that good.
Nah, they weren't. Like, okay, The Warriors was good and Scarface was good.
Yeah, okay.
But like, there was only a few exceptions. You're right. There was a few exceptions of like film games that like were pretty decent, and then you've got like a couple. Not even a couple, a large majority that were just really badly developed film games that just, you could just tell like someone just bought the license for the game, just like, yeah, we're going to make it, like, and it was just so bad.
Yeah, we, not mentioning any names, but there was a particular game that sort of started the whole film game trend, based off an Alien made for the Atari, and that's historically not gone down too well. And if you go in a tip somewhere, there will be the remains of those games cartridges buried somewhere.
Oh my gosh. I actually can't believe that actually happened. Like, they made a game so bad that I had to bury it in the desert in Las Vegas. By the way, that's where it is. If you want to find it, there it is.
I wouldn't even call it a game, really, based on
I wouldn't even call it a game.
It was just a game.
What would we call it? I don't know, piece of media? I don't know.
I mean, technically a game. But, yeah, there's something that I do want to talk about, which is something I called this, I think it was 2 episodes ago. I actually said this exact thing, if you remember. I said, wouldn't it be cool if you could play... we were discussing Stranger Things Season 3. I said, wouldn't it be cool if you could play, like, Stranger Things, but in, like, a Dead by Daylight situation? Where you're being chased around by, like, a Demogorgon? Guess what's coming to Dead by Daylight? Stranger Things. It's as if I knew that this was going to happen. It's as if I came up with the idea, really. So, you know, anyone that did hear that a few episodes ago, just write a quick letter just confirming that you did hear it. It was my idea first. This hasn't been in development for a long time. You know, I came up with the idea, they heard it and went, you know what, we have to develop this now because that's a really good idea. But I'm actually looking forward to this.
Nah, it is. And also, yeah, please, anyone out there, cut Tom the check. You did. I remember, like, this would have been an amazing idea, and I can't believe it's actually coming. But we already said, like, Stranger Things, like, the crossover between, like, Netflix has really had a big presence at E3, and we can really tell that Netflix is trying their best to have a foothold in the gaming market. Like, they're trying to one up all of the rest of these streaming services by doing other things outside of just being a streaming service. Because, you know, it's great having all this content. Like, I get it. Like, people are saying that, like, once Disney Plus comes, it's going to kill Netflix off. But will it really? Because I can't really see it killing Netflix, because Netflix has done so many other things on the outside in order to make themselves look like a much more interesting company, or it is an interesting company, seeing how they're trying to really incorporate games into their content that they make, and original games at that as well. So it's very interesting to see that they've collabed with Dead by Daylight, joining amongst Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, and now the Demogorgon. So
yeah, and it's a slightly more mature look on Stranger Things games, which we haven't seen before, which is something that I personally really wanted, because I prefer the horror element to Stranger Things than the sort of 80s kid vibe we get about it. Not saying I don't like that, but I still feel that it would fit very well into a game like this, and I'm glad we're getting something like this. But if you're not aware of what Dead by Daylight is, it's an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game where basically there's 5 people that play in one game online, 4 players survivors, and 1 plays as the killer. So, for example, in the Stranger Things DLC that will be coming, you will have the killer being a Demogorgon, and then a survivor of Nancy Wheeler, Steve Harrington, and 2 other possibly generic characters running around trying to survive whilst the Demogorgon's chasing you and trying to kill you. So, it is very much a more mature look on the gaming. And Dead by Daylight as well is a very sort of horrific graphic game for stuff like this.
That game was scary that time when we was playing it.
Yeah, it was.
It was really scary. Also, they've added in Ash Williams from Evil Dead, and I think Laurie Strode. I want to say Laurie Strode is from... No, I don't want to do that. I think Laurie Strode is from Halloween. I want to say Halloween. Yes, Halloween. So, yeah. Yes, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, so they've added those 2 famous survivors in there as well, so you can play as them, like being a survivor. And I didn't know they added Ghostface into it as well. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, another live service that is constantly being updated a lot of the time as well. So that, EA, you're not doing the right thing. You need to look at these companies that are doing this and seeing what are they doing that's different to what we're doing.
I know, much more smaller companies as well.
No paywall.
I know, and they've got all of these crazy IPs as well from the 80s in it. Like, well, not from the 80s. Some are from the 80s, and some obviously more modern, like Scream and Stranger Things. So EA has no excuse at all. They keep complaining that they're not making money and all these things, and I'm just like, EA, not making money.
How much money do you want to make?
I'm sorry, but I hate that defense that people always do, like, oh, but if we didn't have microtransactions, or just don't buy them. There's people out there that have conditions. It's essentially an illness. They're addicted to gambling. Like, they are addicted to things like that. They get a nice feeling. They get dopamine when they gamble on things. It's a real thing. I don't want, I just hate them when people just say, oh, just don't buy it or don't do it. Some people can't help themselves, and these games are preying on people like that. Like, we've actually seen there's a guy out there that has a whole presentation on how to make players into payers, like how to get players that are normal, like people who just enjoy games, how to entice them and manipulate their gameplay experience so they feel like they have to buy into the game or feel like they have to buy certain things. It's disgusting, and obviously there just needs to be a change. And like, I'm not hearing the defense of, oh, if you didn't buy things then we wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, I get it, but also if we had some more stricter, like, actual
guidelines,
laws and guidelines on how things can be put into games with in terms of like money transactions, then we wouldn't be in this position either. And no, it's not because the government's trying to suppress games. Yeah, it probably is, but that's a whole nother storyline. It's not trying to regulate free speech. Nobody cares about your lewd Japanese games that you're making. That's not the problem. We're talking about the fact that like kids are running up like £1,000 of debt on credit cards and debit cards of their parents, and the parents are the ones that are getting themselves in the hole because their kid thinks that it's acceptable to do things like this because the game makes it that easy. Also, I think the parents can be held accountable and shouldn't leave their credit card information left on the console. But that's also another different conversation that we need to have as well.
Mm-hmm. But moving on to something that is, well, slightly related, a company that is very closely related with their ethics to EA, 2K. However, NBA 2K 2020, as much as it might have a lot of the negative stuff that 19 had, the My Career cast does look very good, I must admit. If you're not aware, NBA 2K is the basketball game that 2K releases yearly, sports simulation, and My Career is a sort of story campaign mode in a way, where you sort of work your way up the ranks to be a professional basketball player. And this year's cast list is possibly one of the best casting lists we've seen in a video game ever, you could say. But it does sort of bring this line up. I was thinking about this earlier. It brings this line of how many actors are getting into video games now, and not just actors, but big actors, big name actors. NBA 2K is going to feature Idris Elba, Rosario Dawson, Ernie Hudson, Richard Hendricks from Silicon Valley. There's loads of people that are going to be in this that are like well-known actors, and we've seen with Death Stranding how Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, people like this are starting to see games as a viable platform to sort of give their talent to, and I think that's a good thing that those two industries are accepting of each other and willing to work together to create content that's different. It's something we've not seen too much of before, but it is increasing now.
I see this lineup and I think, wow, well, NBA 2K have always tried to do something different when it comes to their My Career anyway. Remember when they had the Spike Lee? Did you have that 2K? The Spike Lee one? Yeah, and that was like a film, like almost. It was weird, and it had like a whole storyline, and then like Pharrell did the soundtrack, and like it was weird, but I agree with you. I feel like actors and things are like that, like they're starting to see that video games are becoming a much more viable route now. I'd say like maybe. Oh, I'm trying to think now. What's that game called? Is it Beyond Two Souls?
Beyond Two Souls? Are you on about the Quantic
Ellen
Dream
Page
game?
Yeah. I remember when that happened, and that was like a big thing at the time to have like Ellen Page in there. And then obviously we know that The Last of Us originally was supposed to have Ellen Page in there as well. So it's interesting to see how games have like kind of gone a little bit kind of back round. Like we had like I couldn't say custom characters, original characters, and then now we're like starting to use celebrities and actors and things like that, like again in games, especially as technology has got to a point where it literally looks like a film. So it's kind of easy to put these people into the game, especially when we have such high level engines, and 2K has one of the best engines out there. I don't even know how their engine is so amazing. Like the way how the game looks. I've never seen a better looking game. Obviously, except for Death Stranding. Then, like, graphically wise, the way how it all works and the sweat and everything, I just think it's amazing what they do. But I don't know. I don't know about 2K as a game, because we already know the kind of stuff that they're going on with the advertisements being placed within the game and things like that. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on 2K? Like, do you think this is obviously, what does this like mean for you? Because obviously you play basketball games, like, but what is, like, would this be something that you would want to see every year now, like them putting more and more actors and actresses and like creating much more like kind of wild stories?
Personally, like, I'm impressed with the cast, but it's not really for me. Like, I won't really find myself playing this career mode. I have tried these ones before, and I find them a little bit sort of, I don't know, they're just, I go into a sports game to just play the game, really. I don't really want to go in for a story mode that much. But there are a lot of people out there that like this stuff. So, you know, a lot of people that play sports games make up stories of their own for their created players or managers and how they've got to certain places. So this does offer that in a way for them. So it's good. It's good that they're improving on this with an all-star cast, and it shows that they are putting time and effort into it. It shows that they're trying to make it as authentic as possible, you could say, to have a more of a realistic story mode in there, and also, like, you know, good quality acting in there as well. So, you know, it might improve the game by having actors of a higher caliber in there. I will probably try it out if I get the chance. If I end up purchasing NBA 2K, then I will try it out if I get it. But
the only issue I can see with this is maybe them trying to use this as a justification of why they need to put like more microtransactions and paywalls and do other stupid stuff within the game, like putting advertisements while the load, like, you know, before a game and things like that, because they've got these actors and stuff like that, and then they need to pay them. Like, I think if you're gonna have a budget and you're spending all your money on like actors and stuff, and then you want to try and say that, oh, this is why we need to put microtransactions in, then I would just not bother do that. I would rather you just make a normal story mode. Because I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like, we're going to see we're going to see more advertising. It's going to be slipped in much more of like I want to say a much more inventive way, so it doesn't feel like we're actually watching the ads. Like, I feel like they're just going to figure out a way how to get one over on the players somehow. I just can't really see how they're going to be able to pay for all of this without some type of, like, something has to be added into the game. I just want to know what the point of this is, how it's going to affect the overall game. I would just go from there, really. I'm pretty sure we'll see some more information about 2K20.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Idris Elba DLC coming soon.
Idris, he's everywhere at the moment, but I'm glad, man. He's killing it. He's killing it.
Bridging the gap between music and gaming. 808s and Joysticks.com.
Well, it's time to move on. Time to move on to TV and films. And it's your favorite. It's
my
favorite topic. It's Disney Plus, because Tom thinks it's going to be sick.
No, I was thinking about this earlier. So, currently relocating a house, and I have a predicament where I wanted to try and get a TV package and internet at the same time so I could get the sports. Now Now, I don't have access to Virgin Media in the building that I'm going to be in, so I can't do that. Sky only offer 18-month contracts, and it's expensive, and I don't want that. And I thought, you know what, I'll get an Amazon Fire Stick, and I'll get Now TV. Well, you can't get Now TV and Amazon Fire Stick because Amazon are a competitor to Sky, and Sky don't want to put their stuff on Amazon. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's get a Now TV box. Okay, well, Amazon isn't on Now TV because they're a competitor, so you can't get that. Let's get something else, like a Roku stick. Okay, but everything's in different apps. It's not in the same place. I want it in the same place, like on Amazon. So, what's the alternative to that? Actually, it's to get an Apple TV because it has everything. And weirdly, you know, this does link onto the point about Disney Plus, because they have announced pricing, but more importantly, they've announced which platforms it's going to be coming to. Now, Disney Plus is coming to Apple devices, Android devices, Microsoft devices such as Xbox One, Sony devices such as PlayStation 4 and Android-based TVs for Sony, and Roku streaming players. So the only place that you can get the Now TV app, the Amazon Prime app, the Netflix, and Disney Plus, and possibly Apple TV Plus, is Apple TV, which is really weird.
Wait, can you get Prime on Apple TV though?
Yeah.
Damn.
You can get everything, and with the Apple TV app, it actually integrates it all into one nice area. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not getting paid by Apple for this at all. I just actually did a bit of research and found out that if I want all these services, the only way that I can have access to all of them on one streaming device is by doing that. Or get a Roku player, but then everything's in separate applications, and I don't really want that. So, it's weird. I don't understand why they're cutting each other out of putting stuff on separate devices. Like, but I don't understand why Disney Plus isn't coming to Amazon devices. Don't understand that at all. It's really weird.
They're just trying to well, we know why Disney's on Apple TV, because obviously Apple and Disney still have a really good relationship with each other, I think, anyway, due to, you know, Steve Jobs used to own Pixar, all of that. So I feel like Disney and Apple kind of have an okay relationship, and Apple did actually, I don't know if Pixar was about to go bankrupt. Apple was. But I know Steve Jobs put a lot of money in Pixar at one point as well. Mm-hmm. So I felt like maybe Disney has an existing relationship. This is obviously just purely speculation. But yeah, it is weird. I just don't really know what to feel about Disney Plus at the moment, because also I'm seeing on here, like, it's going, like, what is the price point for is the UK price not been announced yet?
No, the UK price has not been announced yet. So the current pricing plans that have been announced are pricing for Canada, which is priced at $8.99 Canadian dollars per month, or $89.99 Canadian dollars per year. The Netherlands is €6.99 per month, or €69.99 per year. Australia is $8.99 Australian dollars per month, or $89.99 Australian dollars per year. And New Zealand is $9.99 New Zealand dollars per month, or 99.99. I completely messed that up. I don't know why I did all of them and then messed up the 999. But yeah, £99. 99. Oh, I can't do it. I don't know what's
New Zealand
happening.
dollars. Don't worry. Okay, so it's 99 and 99 dollars, New Zealand dollars per year, which is quite a lot, but I don't really know how much that is in turn. I don't live in New Zealand, so I don't know if that's a lot of money or not.
I don't know what that is compared to other stuff.
I'm guessing, because I see the Netherlands is $6.99. I'm guessing that England's probably going to be about £6.99. Seeing as the euro is basically on par with it at the moment because our country's in shambles.
Well, I mean, it's debatable, but
debatable.
This
Come
is
on
not.
now.
This is not a political podcast. So.
I'm not saying it's political, but everyone do your research. The sterling pound is on equal terms with the euro right now. That doesn't spell good things.
Yes, Boris Johansson, the White Widow, is in charge.
Boris Johansson. We're not getting into this right now.
No, back onto topic. Back to Tom's predictions that have come true. A new section that we're going to do every week because this seems to just keep happening now. If you remember, ages ago when Disney Plus was announced, I said that Disney Plus might have a package with Hulu, and guess what? Disney Plus are going to have a package with Hulu, a discounted plan which comes with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for only $12.99 per month in the US. So there you go. Any predictions? Just call me.
Yeah, but that's in the US though. I feel like Hulu and that's not going to come to it's not going to come to Europe like that. I really, to be honest, they're not going to. Trust me, I feel like that's going to be an US exclusive.
I don't feel like Hulu is going to be coming to the UK anytime in the near future. I feel like it'll take a year or so for them to fully put their plans into place for that. I feel like we're looking probably even longer than a year. We still have Disney said they're only doing original content at first and doing the back catalog. Not even the whole back catalog is even going to be put in there. But we did get a couple of announcements for some films that don't need to be made again, like Home Alone, Cheaper by the Dozen, Night of the Museum. Why are they remaking these films to put on Disney Plus? I don't know. I don't mind it. You don't have to watch
Tom,
it.
don't. Come on now. Come on now. You don't mind it. So you telling me you're going to watch a Cheaper by the Dozen remake? Yeah? You're going to watch that?
Possibly, yeah.
No. Don't backpedal. Don't say possibly. You're going to watch it. You said you don't mind. So you're going to watch a Cheaper by the Dozen remake then?
Well, yeah.
You're going to watch the Home Alone remake. With who?
Yeah, I will probably watch
who's going to be Who's going to be Home Alone? Who's going to be Kevin? Do not tell me you're going to watch a remake of that.
I don't know if you've seen Home Alone 3 and Home Alone 4, but Kevin McAllister is not in them.
Yeah, and I never watched Home Alone 3 or 4 because they're both trash.
Or is it Home Alone 5? That was awful. But
Home Alone 5, that was awful. I've never watched Home Alone past number 2 because it wasn't Macaulay.
Whoa. No. Hang on. Quick debate. Home Alone 3 was one of the best Home Alones.
No, it wasn't. And I'm not gonna let you get this lie off on the show about Home Alone 3 was one of the best Home Alones. What childhood did you have? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was. Home Alone 4 was trash.
I'm not gonna allow you to tell me Home Alone 3 was a good film. It didn't even make sense. Why would you even make a Home Alone 3? It's a different guy. Why would you do this?
Because he was Home Alone still.
He was Home Alone still. You're getting away from the question there. You won't answer the question. So you're telling me you're going to watch a Cheaper by the Dozen remake then?
Yeah, I still
Alright then, you heard it here on the show. Tom's going to watch the Cheaper by the Dozen film and he's going to review it. He's going to give us a minute-by-minute play of the film because he seems to feel that he's going to watch the remake. I remember this, You're going to watch the Night of the Museum remake as well?
Probably. I didn't.
No, you won't.
I didn't really like the first films that much.
No, you are not gonna watch that film. You're gonna come on Disney Plus. You're gonna be like, oh, what is this trash? And you're not gonna bother watching it.
I'm gonna be watching The World According to Jeff Goldblum, The Lady and the Tramp remake.
Oh yeah, okay.
High School Musical, the musical, the series.
That's still what kind of? No, seriously, no, sorry. High School Musical, the what?
The musical. The series.
No, say this full name.
High School Musical, the musical, the series. So good they named it 3 times.
I'm sorry, yeah. Disney's lost the plot. I don't think they really know what they're doing at this point because they're just obviously just making stuff for the fun of it. Why the hell would you release High School Musical, the series?
Because we need a new High School Musical. And High School Musical, the series, is the most obvious thing to do.
We'll be seeing how much of this original content you'll be watching, because I'm getting you to review it all because you seem to think it's going to be great. Okay. I think it's not going to. I think it's going to be some mid. I'm even starting with. I'm even hearing like some of these like little TV series that they're doing for Marvel. Even that just doesn't. Some of the ideas that's going on with there. I don't know how they're going to be able to put this into the MCU. I can't see it working.
Let me stop you there. And let me tell you some interesting news that will make you a Disney Plus subscriber.
I'm never buying it. I've got, like, my girlfriend's family buys Disney Plus, so I will be using theirs.
Okay, so you'll still be using it.
I'm not paying for it, though.
Yeah, but would you be watching a reported Star Wars series based on a specific Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi, starring, reportedly, Ewan McGregor?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No. Because what's the point? This storyline... I'm sick of this. You took away the lore. Why are you bringing Ewan McGregor back? The storyline don't make sense no more.
You don't want to know what Obi-Wan was doing in that desert.
No, I don't want to know what Obi-Wan was doing in the damn desert anymore. Like, it's just long.
I do. I want to know what he was doing in that desert.
I know you do, but it's just the fact that there's just too much supplementary shit that goes along with the Star Wars series now. I'm starting to get lost with how much stuff that they're producing with it, because how is this all making sense within the storyline when they got rid of so much of the old... They got rid of a whole section of Star Wars. A whole section of Star Wars doesn't exist anymore. Now you're trying to restructure the story back again.
That was never really... I mean, technically, it was never really fully canon anyway, so it does get confusing. The Star Wars universe does get confusing when
it was never fully canon. Yeah, it had Lucas Arts on the box and on most of the publishing and stuff like that. Come on now.
Lucasfilm did a lot of things that wasn't even Star Wars, so they published a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Star Wars content. Yo, you're just trying to... you must be being paid by Disney, man.
Yeah, I am.
You must be paid, but you gotta be paid by, like, Bob. Bob's paying you. Must be, man. I'm not giving them this much credit. Disney's been getting away with a lot these days. Like, I heard The Lion King wasn't that great. I heard it was some mid. So...
Mm-hmm. He was always gonna be like that, but personally I think it would have been a good... I've not seen it yet, but personally I think it's a good film. You can quote me on that.
Well, I haven't watched it, but obviously I think everyone's taking it a little bit too far by saying that, like, oh, Disney's just going for the cash grab. I was just like, I just want to know why they're pointing this film out in particular, because they've been doing this for the last, like, 8 years now, like, remaking, like, the live action ones again. Like, they started with, which was the first one they did? Did they do Maleficent first?
Yeah, but that wasn't really...
It's not really a remake, but then obviously they had Beauty and the Beast. No one asked for that. They had Cinderella. Nobody watched that. That
was a good film.
Nobody watched that. Cinderella. What other films have they had that's the live action ones? Dumbo. That flopped.
Yeah, because he has big ears.
No. It had Danny DeVito in it. How could it flop?
I thought you were going to say something about Danny there.
No, I was going to say they had Danny DeVito in it. How could it flop? Well, I would never say a bad word about Danny DeVito. He's a really good actor. And now they're going to have... That's why they're releasing Lady and the Tramp as a live-action film exclusive to Disney+. Because they know it's some mid. Even Aladdin didn't do that well.
Yeah, I'll watch him when I get a chance to. I just don't feel like going to the cinema. But if it was on a service like Disney+, then it's perfect, yeah. It's cheap as well.
yeah, it's cheap for now, but we don't know exactly how much everything is going to cost. We don't know what's going to go on. We don't know how long things are going to take to come out. We don't know what kind of timeline Disney's going to run on. Like, yeah, we're getting this low-key TV series, like, and the WandaVision one and all these other ones, but are we really expecting Tom Hiddleston to, like, keep making seasons of this? Is he going to really be an actor that's going to keep doing this? Or is it going to eventually end? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to get a grasp of, like, yes, this is all Disney content, like, but there's only so much you can do with it, like, and how well produced is all this going to be? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it'll be good. It's Disney.
Yeah, I know it'll be good.
They're not gonna do what Netflix do and just greenlight everything that's been thrown at them. You know, there's one thing about Disney, which is that they always produce good quality stuff, and you know this for a fact. Even the straight to home video stuff was still good quality stuff. Okay, maybe not like Aladdin 2 and stuff, but like,
yeah, it's still good quality stuff because obviously they had like. But had like some of the main animators working on the keyframes and whatnot. But like, this is totally different. Like, this is going from the big screen down to the small screen, and on the digital airwaves, like, it's a different type of thing to maneuver. Like, having the MCU now being incorporated into TV service, like in TV series, I just want to know how all of that is going to work. The customer. People are going to miss certain things if they don't have the Disney service. I just think that, I don't know if they thought about that. I don't know if they thought about the fact that, like, not everyone may want to buy a Disney Plus subscription. I just don't know.
Who do you know though that doesn't want to buy a Disney Plus subscription?
Who do I know? A lot of people I know that are young.
Let me rephrase the question. Who do you know that doesn't like a Disney film?
I don't know anyone that doesn't really like a Disney film. Like, of course they're like one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. Like, if not, they are the biggest entertainment company in the world right now. So it's not to Netflix, say, it's not to say that they're not. Well, Netflix is debatable. HBO is pretty big right now as well. Well, Warner, should I say, is pretty big. Like, in terms of streaming, like, they're about to make some real waves when they announce their streaming service, which is supposed to be coming soon in like a proper Warner Brothers, like Warner service. And apparently they're going to take all of their stuff off streaming services as well.
Now, I'd subscribe to that if I got access to all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
That's being put somewhere, you know.
Probably Warner Brothers, because they own the rights to, well, used to own the rights to it. They either do or used to. I believe they probably still do.
Yeah, that's it. HBO Max in it. They're gonna have Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, like, an all their back catalogue on there.
Interesting.
And Turner Classic Movies, because they own that. So that the Cartoon Network and Adult Swim has already been taken, like, by HBO Max. So that's pretty interesting. It's like, TBS, TNT, Turner Classic. That's why, like, Disney won't have American Dad, because TBS own American Dad, not Fox anymore.
That's fine by me.
Yeah, like, it's just like little things like that, but like, yeah, HBO Max, that's the service there. Warner Media's streaming service. So that's their one, but I don't know if that's going to come to England. I know it's going to be in the US, but I don't know about the UK or international territories at the moment. But
well, let me sort of break up the conversation a little bit, because we're speaking about Netflix, we're speaking about cartoons or animation, and Netflix have just ordered a He-Man anime series, Masters of the Universe Revelation, from the man himself, Kevin Smith. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be good. You know, we're speaking about like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, the old Cartoon Network stuff. Now, what's like more symbolic of that era of cartoons as well than something like He-Man and Masters of the Universe?
Well, I didn't even know that the VP of Mattel TV and author of He-Man is like one of the executive producers. How did he manage to be the author of He-Man and he's the vice president of Mattel TV? That's a pretty sick, like, job. Like, managing to be like the author of like He-Man and being the VP of Mattel TV as well. I didn't even know Mattel had a television line. This is like my first time seeing Mattel television.
Oh, they're bringing big guns out now. They're because they've finally bought the Power Rangers license recently, which means that they actually want to make a Mattel universe now. So we're going to be seeing things like, in fact, I don't know if Mattel. No, could be wrong there. I may have got that wrong.
Mattel. Sure. No, I'm about to say Mattel doesn't own. It's not Mattel. It's Hasbro owns Power Rangers.
Hasbro.
Yeah,
because
I don't know what Hasbro is doing with the Power Rangers at the moment. I
want the Hasbro universe. I want G.I. Joe fighting a Power Ranger with, I don't know, some other stuff thrown in, maybe like a Barbie. And I think Mattel, but confusing. Don't know enough about toys to start discussing this. I've sort of put myself in a hole there and trying to dig my way out now. Quick little tip: if you do want to know about things like Hasbro and Mattel and like the toy franchises and how they started, like Masters of the Universe is really interesting because they literally just made He-Man and then put a load of shit together to make like Beast Man. They literally just repainted old toys and just went, "What's this? Let's call it Beast Man." Like, mad how that turned into one of the biggest selling franchises in toy history. But if you are interested in that, watch the Netflix series Toys That Made Us. It's really, really, really interesting. It's one of the like series that I've watched when it first came out ages ago, and it's one of the most interesting and sort of like relevant documentaries you could watch to the sort of ongoing thing that's happening in pop culture and sort of this, even like the revamp of like 80s stuff and streaming all coming back now, stuff like that. It really ties into that, the toy industry in that era. So I'd highly recommend going to watch that. But moving back on to Masters of the Universe anime, because I sort of got a bit off topic there. It is going to be animated by the team behind Netflix's Castlevania series, Powerhouse Animation. And if you've watched the Castlevania series, you know how good that is. So I have a feeling they're going to do this justice.
Well, the Netflix, you talk about the Castlevania series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Castlevania series. I've only ever watched like 2 episodes of it, but I thought it was pretty good. Seeing as I don't think it's not a Japanese anime company, so it was kind of a bit weird to look at it and they were speaking in like English. I was expecting like Japanese, but like the art style was anime. I was like, oh, okay. So it took a while to get my head around it, but the Netflix Castlevania series is alright, like when I was watching it. So I'm quite excited. He-Man also was really cool. Back in the day, I remember when the He-Man series used to come on. And I had the toy as well, the He-Man toy. I just think that Netflix is obviously trying something different. They're trying to get a different foothold in the market. They really have this whole nostalgia thing going for them at the moment, where they're going with different nostalgias though. Like, they're not going with, obviously Disney have their whole back catalogue is full of nostalgia, but like Netflix is thinking, what IPs do we know that are around that people are really interested in? Because we know people are so interested in He-Man, and the fact that there is going to be a film as well,
they also
in 2021.
Yeah, they also recently brought out the She-Ra animated series on Netflix, which is now in its third season, and that's doing really well. So
Yeah.
There's obviously interest there for it, and hopefully they make He-Man into like the sort of more mature, darker thing of it, which I'd really like a slightly darker.
Judging
He-Man.
from the poster, it looks like they are going to go down that route.
Judging by the fact they're using the Castlevania animators, because Castlevania is a really gory anime.
Yeah, well, it's based upon the game, and the games, as time progressed, obviously you started off as, you got Castlevania, and you have the genre of game, which is Metroidvania. It came from that type of game, but as the Castlevania game grew and it got to a 3D point, the 3D one was really gory. That was also done by Kojima Productions back when they were at Konami. So,
and like you said, if He-Man isn't for you, and you want something a bit different, something maybe a little bit different, maybe something a bit weirder, something a bit out there, don't worry, Netflix have got you covered. They have announced a brand new adult animated comedy series called Agent King, which features none other than Elvis Presley as a spy.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know,
it just
but
doesn't make
I'm
sense.
down.
Though,
I'm down. Let me give you the details, because I have a feeling you'll change your mind. Okay, so the plot synopsis is as follows. Elvis Presley trades in his white jumpsuit for a jetpack when he is covertly inducted into a secret government spy program to help battle the dark forces that threaten the country he loves, all while holding down his day job as the king of rock and roll. It is going to be...
I'm not on board with this. I'm not on board.
Hang on. One more thing, and then we'll see if you're still on board. Or you might jump on board, jump on the bandwagon. Have a feeling you might. According to Variety, Archer's Mike Arnold will serve as the showrunner, writer, and co-executive producer.
I'm not on board, because because I already have Archer. I'm not big. I don't care about Elvis in it, so it's not. That's just my thing in it. This is not exciting for me. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry to let you down.
You don't want to see Archer, but with Elvis.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why is Priscilla Presley like the co-creator and executive producer? Oh, let me guess, she wants money. So what's the point? Like, I'm not. I don't understand. Why would people agree to this? Elvis Presley was never a spy. What the hell is this about? I'm confused.
How do you know Elvis wasn't a spy? Maybe that's
because he wasn't.
Maybe it's just a big cover-up. Maybe that's how he actually died whilst out in the field, and they covered it up and said he died on the toilet, and now this is the true-to-life story of his life and what happened. Disclaimers, it's not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a spy, but he could have been. We don't know.
It doesn't look like a lot of people like this idea.
Well, I like it. I like that they're just doing weird stuff like that.
I just don't. I think Netflix could have done, like, I'm trying to think what do I need a sequel to? You could have worked on a sequel to a lot of other things. Netflix. You could have brought some better anime to the series, to the service as well. But instead, you're doing this. Obviously, I just don't care in it. Like, it's just because I'm not that interested. I know you're interested in it, but I am not interested in seeing Elvis as a spy. Like, I don't really care about that. Like,
yeah, but I want weird, dumb stuff like that, because there's not a place. Netflix allows people to do weird, dumb stuff like that. Like, we would. I mean, to be fair, there was a previous Elvis animated series called what was it? Bubba Hotep, which saw like an old Elvis fighting mummies. So yeah, it sort of has happened before, but to this degree where it's like a full series being available streaming now here and there with a good showrunner, writer, and co-executive producer, you know, we wouldn't have got stuff like this before. It would have only been limited to things such as like Adult Swim, whereas now we're seeing a lot of this stuff pop up everywhere, and you know, it's really good. I like it. I think the creative boundaries have sort of been loosened, and people just can really do what they want to. Maybe,
this is the problem. This is the problem, though. You saying that, like, Netflix is greenlight anything. Why was this greenlit? I don't get it. I'm baffled by it. I can't understand it. I don't think I will get my head around it. Like, it's obviously there to serve some sort of purpose. I would like to know who's going to be watching this.
Me,
except for Tom. We'll see in it. Like, we'll see if there's going to be more than one person watching this, because I don't feel like they are.
We'll see if Netflix come out and say, okay, the numbers for this, there was one person that watched this.
And we can name him by name because there's only one person.
Yeah, I'd be proud to be Agent King's #1 fan. I'd be proud.
Tom, you're saying a lot of damning things on here, you know, on this show. You're saying a lot of things on this show. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold Tom to this.
I'll watch it. I will watch that. It looks good. Something I will watch though, and something you'll probably watch as well. Amazon's Lord of the Rings prequel, The Second Age.
Okay, now let's get into this. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm already rubbing my hands vigorously.
Maybe not while we're recording. A Game of Thrones competitor. Well, I say competitor. Well, yeah, actually, a Game of Thrones competitor, because they are going to release the Game of Thrones prequels. So a Game of Thrones competitor, I have a feeling this is going to be better. Lord of the Rings is just so much... Sorry, George R.R. Martin, but you've got nothing on Tolkien. Okay, the world is just much better, the lore's better. It all makes sense. It's all done as he wants it, or as he wanted it. He left plans in place for everything, and the world was so in depth to the point that the films and the books don't even really cover it that much, because he went so far into world building. If you look at people that love fantasy, Tolkien is like the idol. He's the epitome of great fantasy writing and world building, because he does everything so well, and it needs to hold up to that. But they have a lot of good talent behind this, and I think it will.
The only thing that I will say maybe is that obviously upon the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, Tolkien never really wrote about this era of Lord of the Rings. He never really wrote about the Second Age, which lasts for 3,500 years. This was all of the information around this was posthumous works, such as the Silmarillion, the History of Middle Earth series, unfinished tales, drafts, manuscripts, little like short stories, all that were compiled by Tolkien's son. So I want to know how they're really gonna able to carve out their own kind of story using this, you know, all of this information that they have to basically piece together in order to create a viable storyline. So
I think there's enough there for them to do it justice. I really do. He, like I've just sort of said, like, even the stuff that he has made, like some of the stuff that's released posthumously, he did create a very detailed history of this place called Arda, where it's going to be set, and you know, he goes into detail about the creation of the universe all the way up to the modern era of humanity. And the thing about Tolkien as well is he based a lot of his stuff around real world stuff, or real world events in a way as well. So he sort of keeps the fantasy in a realistic environment, or keeps the realism in the fantasy by doing that. And it means that adapting something like this is possibly going to be still hard, but you know, the amount of detail that's there already, I think it'll be okay. And also, unlike Game of Thrones, where the book differed from the TV series, you know, the books don't differ from the films that much. And okay, there's still stuff missing because it's a book, but you know, the main content's there, and you know, this is going to be just an added extra to that whole universe. I really think it's going to be the next sort of big thing. You know, Lord of the Rings was massive when it came out, and
yeah,
it personally, I mean, Game of Thrones holds nothing on it, in my opinion. But you know, Game of Thrones was a nice filler. Now Lord of the Rings is back. I don't really care about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones has kind of really just disappeared now. Like, nobody really cares about it anymore. Like, I don't really hear anyone talking about it. I don't hear anybody really saying like, oh, is there any more Game of Thrones related things coming back? I really think as a series, they really messed it up at the end, because it really left a bad taste in people's mouths. It doesn't even want people to be excited or like say, oh, I'm going to rewatch Game of Thrones. Like, I don't really see that. Do you know, online when I see like such series like Breaking Bad and Stranger Things and you know those series that went on for a long time. I know Stranger Things is pretty new, but you know, people are already like trying to rewatch that, and they already regard it as a great series. And then
you mean like when people go, oh, let's watch the extended versions of all 3 Lord of the Rings films in one go?
Like, yeah, I would definitely do that. I had the extended director's cut version of The Two Towers. It's an amazing film. I love it.
That's what I mean. Those films, even though they were made a long time ago, how timeless are they, and how good are they? And if you imagine that updated, you know, and then compare it to Game of Thrones, the writing, the world building, everything is just far beyond what Game of Thrones ever showed on the TV screen.
Everything is going to be totally different. Well, according to this series, the Second Age is like something that is totally different. Like, we didn't obviously ever see the Second Age, so we're going to see how the world was shaped. The rest of the world, because obviously Middle Earth like exists within a larger part of Earth, in it, like of the world. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Amazon tackle this, and I want to know how it's all going to work, really, and if people are actually gonna watch this and be excited by this. I don't know, though. I don't know. Because people are just fickle these days, innit? Some people just might not think that Lord of the Rings is the cool thing to watch, and like some people just, when I say like Lord of the Rings, like people are like, oh wow, that film's so long and it's boring, and I was like, it's not boring, like just a lot
but
of
you'll
like
sit through 8
detail.
seasons of Game of Thrones for that ending. Okay,
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I said people are fickle. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how are they supposed to? There's no way we're gonna ever really know. But obviously Amazon is reportedly committed to 5 seasons and a potential spin-off. So that's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of information and a lot of world building. And we're gonna see a lot of different things that like obviously gives us more context to the films. And hopefully it does really give us a better understanding of the world, so we can go back and watch the films and be like, that's cool, that's interesting, didn't really think about that, like, you know.
But if there's one thing that does do that, and I was just gonna say, if you can't wait for the Lord of the Rings fix before it comes to Amazon, then one of the best things to do is actually to play the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games that Warner Brothers published, because, you know, they are really good games, but also you realize how in-depth the world that Tolkien built is when you play those games, because they're so vastly different from the film, but also they fit into the same universe, like, really, really nicely. And you sort of see that, like, the amount of detail that's put into it compared to something like Game of Thrones, where a lot of stuff is missing, and it more sort of what they did with the TV series as such, but you definitely see how those games depict the world, and more sort of how the series is probably going to be as well, the new series. So I think, like, a good starting point, if you want to get into it or have an idea of what the series is going to be, is to pick up Shadow of Mordor and then Shadow of War, which is the sequel, and just play through those games and see, you know, do you like it? Do you think that you're going to like the series by playing those games? That's probably the best thing to do, because it will be different from the films, but it's still going to keep a lot of the same elements as well.
Yeah, like the Shadow of War games, you're right. The way how you can essentially not interchange, but like the world is so much like Lord of the Rings. You're just like, wow, like I'm playing the Lord of the Rings game, but it's so far from what you know of Lord of the Rings. So it's really interesting, and I am looking forward to how Amazon are going to tackle this. And yeah, I think it has a chance to maybe learn from Game of Thrones as well. Like, hopefully they've seen the mistakes that they made with a series like that, and, you know, not having, you know, all the material already written down by the author, or the world was not already fully established. For you to then create a series and end it without the book or anything being even ended, like far from finished, I think was just silly in the first place. I think, like, if you was gonna do something like that, you should have waited at least. But then again, what am I to say? This is George R.R. Martin. He's apparently making a game with From Software, the Dark Souls developers, and it looks exactly like Dark Souls. So, and apparently he's writing the world and stuff like that for that. So, I guess
it's Lord of the Rings, Dark Souls, isn't it? Basically, there's a ring and blah blah blah, and where have I seen that before? Can't think.
Yeah, what's it called again? Sorry, what's it called? The game.
I have no idea.
Is it called like something Ring? It is, isn't it?
I think it's Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring. Elden Ring.
Like, come on now. Like,
next you'll be telling me there's an elf in there that's called Calibumbor or something.
Or Wodo.
Yeah. Oh, who's this? God. Oh, it's Bollum.
Weagle.
Yeah, it's gonna end up with like Weedle. You can't have that; it's already taken.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, we'll see what happens when that game comes out. But we are excited for the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, and it will be coming very soon.
Bridging the gap between music and gaming. 808s and Joysticks.com.
So, moving on to music. Now, it's been very busy. There's a lot of stuff that's come out. A lot of new albums, a lot of new singles. New albums, let's kick it off. you normally do the music, so
Yeah,
we'll do a quick rundown of the new albums for
let's get it.
the last 2 weeks that have come out.
Yeah, so so far, wow, it's an amazing. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to this yet, but it's amazing. So much fun by Young Thug. Thug has finally dropped his debut album. This is his debut, and all the rest before that
as well, I think.
Yeah, it was on his birthday. All the rest before that were all mixtapes. Also, just check out the album art because I think it's just really sick. It's just basically his face with a bunch of people. I just think it's just really, really cool. And yeah, it's a really, really good project. It's Young Thug's first like number one. Like he's got so many songs on number one, and it's probably going to sell about 100K, which Young Thug has never sold that amount. So really, really proud of Young Thug. He's come a long way. We've listened to him for many years now. So yeah, shouts out to Thug for finally releasing his debut album, and more success to him. I by Bon Iver. I've listened to this album very briefly. It sounds fire. Sounds definitely like what type of album that I'll be listening to at the moment. Sounds really cool. Quality Control, Control the Streets 2 by QC. It's funny they're called Quality Control, but there's like 36 songs on this. I tried listening to it. I got fatigued. I couldn't do it. Have you listened to this yet?
Yeah, there's some good songs on there.
There's some. No, don't get me wrong. It's got Migos and everyone in there. The intro is really good. I'm into Lil Yachty a lot more these days. I really like Lil Yachty. I think he's doing all right. And yeah, it's just
a song that I've put on the weekly playlist for this week, which is called "Leave 'Em Alone," which is featuring the City Girls.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that is a really, really good song, in my opinion. But yeah, like you said, there was a lot of tracks on the album.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like 36 songs, like that's overkill. And the album, like itself, isn't really doing very well. Like people don't really seem to like it that much. I think it's because it's like what happens with Lil B in it. Like a lot of tracks and there's only like a few good gems in there. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to really like sift through a lot of other ones. And like, a bunch of people on there that I don't really know and they're not that great. Obviously, you throw Migos on every track and you're bound to get something a little bit decent in it. Like, but it only works so much in it.
Wait, you're bound to get some good ad-libs somewhere.
Yeah, they always said like is what it is in it.
A better name for the album would have been Quantity Control.
Yeah, they that's what I'm saying. Like it's ironic they call it Quality Control when there was literally, I want to know who did the quality control in this album.
LeBron.
Because you could have literally LeBron, executively produced by LeBron. They're not even gonna lie, that album by 2 Chainz is really good. Like I don't know what LeBron did. I know it was a really good 2 Chainz album, but I don't know what LeBron did. Yeah, but it's a really good 2 Chainz album. Floor Seats EP by Ferg. I don't know what Ferg's doing right now. It's a little bit like
or
no, I mean just like in terms of like musically, like I don't know what kind of space he's in. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't really tell.
Yeah, I didn't really get much from this at all when I listened to it. I just sort of was like, nah.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, come on, Ferg, like this is like your next project after Still Striving, which by the way was a really good project. I really like Still Striving. It just wasn't. Don't you feel like it just kind of missed its mark? Like it just like I felt like he was trying to say something with this EP, but it just wasn't that great. Like I don't know.
To be honest, it was like a one listen for me, and then I've not touched it again.
See,
yeah, and I didn't even listen to it really when it was on. It was more like in the background because it didn't keep me interested.
Yeah, it's just that I don't know. Next on the list we have Forever by Shura. I've not listened to this. I know who Shura is. I've heard that name.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got Immunity by Claro. I also heard of Claro before as well, but not really listened to their music. Inflorescence by Friendly Fires. Friendly Fires is pretty cool. I seen them at I didn't personally see them at Glastonbury, but I watched their performance at Glastonbury and I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah. I've followed Friendly Fires for many years now. This album's it's more dance based, but they've always been pretty dancey with them.
They've always been pretty. Yeah, that's what I thought. They've always been pretty upbeat. Like that's all I thought that's their kind of thing, innit?
Mm-hmm. But it's a good album, nice sort of happy-ish album. There's nothing spectacular, but it's a solid album that's definitely worth a listen.
Cool. We've got Those Feelings Again by Snow Allegra. Now, not really ever listened to Snow Allegra, but I've listened to her on other people's tracks and thought she was a good artist. But I've never heard something from her,
Mm-hmm.
a standalone. Is this a debut album for her?
I'm not sure if it's a debut album. I don't know.
Just a follow up, but I would definitely check it out because I remember she was on the Senorita song with Vince Staples. She was on the hook in it. She did the little singing part at the end.
It's a follow up album. Yeah, but I mean, it is a very. I mean, I don't want to say very good album because I've not fully listened to it. I've listened to it a few times, but I need to listen to it a bit more. But so far, when I've listened to it, it's a good album. I've also included a track called Toronto off it on my side of the weekly playlist as well. So it's made the cut for that. So it's got to be a decent enough album if it makes the cut for that.
Okay, cool. Also, we have Black Moses EP, but I've heard this. Black Moses EP by Channel Trez. Yeah. It is pretty good project. Go check that out. We've also got Condition 3 or Roman numerals in 3 by Salute. It's a single with 3 tracks, a part of the Condition trilogy.
Yeah, this is really good. If you like sort of Selection, shout outs to Selection. If you like sort of that sort of type of music, that sort of vibe, future sounds with a bit of hip hoppy R&B stuff thrown in there, this is a really good, solid sort of single with 3 tracks on there. The track that I've put on the weekly playlist on my side off this week is called Feel the Same, and it's got a sort of slight garagey feel to it as well in a way, but like a futuristic garage. You have to listen to it really to sort of tell what it is, but it's very good. It's a good bop.
And just moving on to we've got one more album left. I don't think we announced it last week, as we did, but Port of Miami 2 came out and it was pretty hard. I like the album.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ross he delivered with this project. Still, it was all the kind of Rick Ross that I was expecting, the smooth, luxurious, cinematic type beats, and him just rapping about the lifestyle he lives. I know it's kind of can be a little bit why would you want to hear that? But he tells stories so well. It's just sick. I don't get how he does it, but he never ceases to fail when it comes to things like that. So yeah, Port of Miami 2. If you want to listen to a good rap project, go listen to that.
Yeah, and his son's not doing too bad these days either, starring in The Lion King here and there.
Oh my gosh, that's such an obscure reference. No one's gonna know what the hell that means.
I'm hoping someone knows what that reference means.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and do you remember Nestle? Nestle's got a new album out as well called "Standing on Satan's Back." It's really hard.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the album art's really interesting as well. Actually, I'll send it to you after. Also, I found another person as well called Hamza. They were featured on the last week's players. They've got an EP called Phases. It's really, really cool. Upcoming female artist. I don't know if she's from the UK or not, but it's just a really, really nice project. It's an R&B kind of soul project, and it's just nice to listen to. I like the sound of it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it in terms of albums. Moving on to just the singles now. We've got "Be Honest" by Georgia Smith featuring Burna Boy. Burna Boy is having a massive like moment right now. Like everyone really is into Burna Boy. So yeah. And Hot Girl Summer by Meg Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. It's making big waves. Hot Girl Summer is probably one of the biggest like taglines for all the girls this summer. So, or whoever wants to identify, hey, it's a hot girl summer, hot guy summer, whatever in it. Like you do you in it. But yeah, that song is climbing up the charts. Won't Be Late by Sway Lee and Drake. This snippet was dropped by Virgil months ago, and I've been waiting for it to drop, and it's out now, and it's what I expected. What do you think of the track?
I wouldn't say it's the best track I've heard.
It's not the best. It's just what I expected, and it's just Sway Lee and Drake.
Yeah, it's alright, but I expected a little bit more from them. But you know, they don't have to do much when you've got that much hype behind you, like Drake does. You know, Drake could release a freestyle of him talking about, I don't know,
paper.
I was gonna bring up the Twitter stuff where he did his, you know, people joke about him doing a freestyle about 11 and stuff, but you know, I'm not gonna bring that up.
Yeah, don't. Let's not. Those are some serious accusations, Tom. Like you can't say that.
I'm not accusing him of anything. He did it himself.
No one did anything themselves. no one did anything. I'm sick of this shit. Dre's not done anything. I don't know why everyone keeps trying to say that he has, but that's some serious allegations. We should have been putting all of this energy into R. Kelly, who's been creeping around everyone for years. Hell and Back by Bakar. Bakar is just, he's just a cool guy. Like, he just makes really cool music. Go support him. English guy. Makes something, makes like a hybrid of like, I would like to say like, it's like a mix between like UK rap and like Britpop, I would say. Like, it's weird.
I really like this track. I think it's a good track.
Yeah, Bakar's cool. How You Want It, Tiana Taylor featuring King Combs. Now I got a bone to pick with King Combs. Is he gonna forever just trying to keep being like his dad?
What do you mean?
Because obviously his dad's P. Diddy in it. That's Diddy's son.
Nah, it's King Combs. His dad's Sean Combs.
His dad's not even Sean Combs. His dad.
Is it not?
His dad's name is Sean John. Or Sean Jonathan Combs. Yeah, that's his real name in it.
Sean Paul.
Sean Paul. John Bot. No. Yeah, like he really is like his dad though. Like the way how he raps and like they use the same like samples and stuff. I'm like, I really want to see how he manages to make his own lane, like not in his dad's shadow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
you think Drake's son's gonna rap?
You can't really replace Diddy. Do I think Drake's son's gonna rap?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, I wonder what Adonis is gonna be like. We're gonna see him grow up. This is gonna be funny.
It's gonna be a Don.
He's gonna be a Don. Addy Don. I can't believe Pusha T messed up that whole deal. That's another thing we forgot to as well. Pusha T removed his verse off Rick Ross's album because Lil Wayne was on it.
Yo.
And then the verse got leaked and he was dissing Lil Wayne and Drake on it. So he would have been dissing Lil Wayne on the song. That would have been a sick song.
That's the
you know, Maybach Music 6. That was the one that he was supposed to be on.
I don't know. Too much politics going on.
There's a lot of politics, man. There's a lot of politics, but we'll keep it going. Hair Down by Sir featuring Kendrick. Kenny is in like this weird space right now where he's not human. Like, how the hell? Like, this feature is hard. He's rapping in like a mad way. Like, I just don't understand. We need the album, Kendrick. We need it now.
I'm down for an album.
Yeah, album's on its way, innit, apparently. He should be like soon in it. If we're going off like what TDE's like release windows are, Kendrick should be coming to like quite soon. If You Pray Right by Brockhampton. I just don't know how to feel about Brockhampton at the moment.
You better sort of get that feeling soon, because the new album Ginger is coming out on the 23rd of August.
Yeah, I know, but like after Iridescence, like I just feel like Brockhampton just isn't making the kind of music I like to listen to anymore. Like I just don't know what they're trying to do. Like maybe I'm just too caught up on the Saturation series just because of
I know what you mean.
Feelings and stuff like that.
There's not the same. Let's see, I quite liked Iridescence.
Yeah, I know you did. I didn't mind Iridescence over time. You told me to go and revisit it, and I did. And it sounded a lot better when I came back to it.
And I quite liked all the tracks that were building up to Iridescence, like all the 1990s.
Oh, those
tracks.
are cool. Yeah, I like the one with the Jazzy Faye one. That one was so hard.
Mm-hmm. But the 3 singles they've released so far, I've not really seen myself going back and listening to it. I've not resonated with them as much. But saying that, when Iridescence come out, I did the same with that, and then the album come out. And once the album come out, because the songs on the album that I liked were just on the album and not released as singles, when I listened to the whole album, the other songs fit into it and then became some of my favourite songs as well. So I feel like that might be the same situation again, but I do feel like there's not as much behind this album as there normally is to Brockhampton music. There's not as much punch to it.
Yeah, like I just kind of feel like, all right, you guys are making all this music, yeah, but now I'm not really seeing what is it that you're actually rapping about now. Like, you've got the deal, you've got the resources. Why are we still seeing the same type of like DIY videos, but just not done as inventive anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like I just didn't quite understand. I just didn't really quite understand. Like it's sad because obviously I really love Brockhampton. I think, you know, I would not say I was instrumental, but I feel like we was both kind of instrumental in like spreading Brockhampton. Like I think Brockhampton.
Now you sound like a Brockhampton fan.
Nah. I don't mean like that, but I mean like we were instrumental in like. I'm definitely not a Brockhampton fan. I am not the fan base anymore. If you can see what the fan base is like, definitely it's not me. So,
well, yeah, I started to realize I wasn't the fan base when my little cousin was listening to it, and I was like, maybe it's not really for me.
It's not because that's the reason. Like they've got rid of the edginess now. They've got rid of Amir. So
I do want to say that's like not. That's not saying that because people are younger, that's not for me. But it's like that is like this is pop music now, and it's something that we don't have enough time to cover it now. But it's something that we will try and get into at some point in one of the next few episodes. But
I just want to say take a look at what Brockhampton used to do, yeah. Take a look at their videos now, and seeing as they've got much more funding and marketing and all of that kind of stuff behind them, I want to know why their music sounds like that. When back in the day they did everything themselves and the music sounded significantly better and more organic. Just take a listen. I just want people to consider that.
Well,
anyway,
you know, they wanted to be a boy band. They are a boy band now. I don't know. Sometimes you don't get what you wish for.
I guess so.
You know, sometimes your dreams look better. You know, I don't want to say this,
your dreams look better in your head, innit? Like,
your dreams are better as dreams. When it comes to reality, it's not exactly how you dreamt it.
Well,
I think that's a good place to leave the show.
Yeah, it's a good place to end, really. Just, it's a little bit sad, but obviously, like, we're just saying, Brockhampton isn't what it used to be anymore. But, hopefully, Kevin, if you're out there, could talk to us, man.
Yeah, I would
love to have a conversation with all of them and just be like, yo, I don't know if you know what we see, because I feel like they've also kind of got a bit jaded. I would love to have a much more bigger conversation about this, because it's like they're gonna do the Odd Future route, but it's not going to be that great though. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, you can check out a lot of the music that we already just spoke about in the music section on the playlists. Yeah, really, we had a rebrand, if you didn't notice.
Yeah,
I don't know, Tom, if you want to go in there just for really quickly, just a little bit about the rebrand.
This is the first episode that we've had after our rebrand. If you want to find out a little bit more information, then you can go to our websites, 808s.joysticks.com, to find out a bit more information. And if you sign up to our newsletter there, you will get information about new merchandise, new episodes, new content, all when it drops, and even exclusive discount codes to use as well. But yeah, it's something we've been working on for a while. We've mentioned it previously in a few shows that we've been working on something. This is what it is. Not just this. There's more stuff to come.
Oh, so way many. Yes, you don't.
But this is this is the start of it.
It is the start.
We liked what we had before, but we felt it was very generic. We wanted to be a bit more modern, forward thinking, like ourselves, have something that represents our brand and our vision, and we feel like the new logo really sort of encapsulates that as much, but also throws back to the old logo and still incorporates the music with the joystick and what we used to have. So I'm really happy with it. I think you're really happy with it too, and the response we've had is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm really happy with
it really is. Yeah. It's just shown like how much it was needed in a way, without hating on what we had before, but sometimes you have to be critical to move forward and better yourselves, and that's what we've done. But we are thankful for everyone that is listening, and all the new people that are listening, and all the new people that have gone on the website, all the people that have bought merch. Thank you very much. It supports the show, helps pay our costs and stuff, and we look forward to the future.
808s and Joysticks with Tom Stone and Tyrell Hayward Brown.